Hey guys, Dr. Your Name here. Now listen, everybody on the internet is telling you to eat sardines for protein, for omega-3s for longevity. Sardines, sardines, sardines. But let me tell you something, if you actually want to build real muscle and protect yourself against sarcopenia, that age-related muscle wasting that steals your strength and independence, there's another food that blows sardines out of the water. Today, I'm going to show you what it is, why it works, and how it can literally change the way you age. Sarcopenia is one of those silent problems that most people don't think about until it's too late. The truth is, it doesn't begin when you're old, frail, and walking with a cane. It actually starts much earlier in life, sometimes as early as your 30s and 40s, when you still feel young and capable. What happens is gradual, so sneaky that most people never notice. You lose a little muscle here, a little strength there. You tell yourself it's just part of aging, or maybe that you're just busy, stressed, and not working out as much. But in reality, that slow decline is the very beginning of sarcopenia. By the time most people recognize it, they've already lost a significant amount of muscle tissue, which means their health, their metabolism, and their independence are already compromised. Here's the thing most doctors don't say enough: muscle is medicine. It's not just about looking good in the mirror or lifting heavy weights in the gym. Muscle is active tissue. It's a metabolic organ that works day and night to regulate your blood sugar, protect your bones, burn fat, and even support your immune system. The more muscle mass you have, the healthier your metabolism is going to be. People with strong, healthy muscles age slower, stay more independent, and recover faster from illness or injury. When you don't have enough muscle, everything in your body becomes harder to maintain. Your balance, your energy levels, your blood sugar control, even your ability to fight off disease. One of the scariest truths about sarcopenia is how it robs people of their independence. Think about it. When you don't have the strength to carry your groceries, climb a flight of stairs, or even stand up from a chair without pushing off with your arms, that's not just weakness. That's a medical condition. And it didn't show up overnight. It's the result of years, sometimes decades, of not paying attention to your muscle health. Muscle loss increases your risk of falls, fractures, hospitalizations, and even premature death. But here's the good news: sarcopenia is not a guaranteed part of aging. You can fight it, you can slow it down, and in many cases, you can reverse it. What most people don't realize is that preventing sarcopenia doesn't just mean going to the gym. Yes, resistance training is important, but your nutrition is the real foundation. Muscle is built from high-quality protein, and your body has specific needs for amino acids like leucine to stimulate growth and repair. If your diet doesn't deliver those building blocks consistently, no amount of exercise will stop the decline. That's why focusing on the right foods, the ones with dense, bioavailable protein, is absolutely essential. You can't just eat more protein. You need the kind of protein that your body can actually use to build muscle. Another piece of the puzzle is lifestyle. Chronic stress, poor sleep, too much sitting, and not enough movement all accelerate muscle loss. You don't have to become a bodybuilder, but you do need to use your muscles daily. Walk, lift, squat, push, pull. Remind your body that strength is still required. The body is very efficient. It won't keep what it doesn't use. If you don't challenge your muscles, they shrink. If you fuel them with the wrong foods, they weaken. But if you nourish them and challenge them, they grow stronger, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. So when I say muscle is medicine, I mean it literally. Strong muscles are protective against type 2 diabetes, heart disease, osteoporosis, and obesity. They help regulate hormones and keep inflammation down. They're your body's built in pharmacy, dispensing the chemicals and signals that keep you alive and thriving. Without them, your health declines in every direction. That's why building and protecting your muscle should be a priority starting right now, no matter your age. Sarcopenia might start earlier than you think, but with the right choices, you don't have to let it control your future. When most people hear that they need more protein to build or preserve muscle, their first thought is to simply eat more of it. They start piling on bigger servings of whatever protein source they're used to, thinking that sheer quantity is the solution. But the truth is, not all protein is created equal, and the quality of the protein you eat can matter even more than the total amount. If you're eating large amounts of low-quality protein, your body may not be getting what it truly needs to stimulate muscle growth, repair tissue, and fight off sarcopenia. That's because protein is more than just a number on a nutrition label. It's a package of amino acids, and it's those amino acids, particularly the essential ones, that determine how effective that protein is for your health. Your body doesn't treat all protein sources the same. Plant proteins, for example, often come with incomplete amino acid profiles or lower amounts of the key amino acids needed to build muscle. Animal proteins, on the other hand, tend to be complete, meaning they contain all of the essential amino acids in the right ratios. Leucine is the standout here, because it is the amino acid that acts as the trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Without enough leucine, the muscle building switch simply doesn't flip on, no matter how much total protein you eat. That's why foods rich in high-quality, bioavailable protein, like eggs, beef, chicken, fish, and dairy, are so effective at preserving and building lean mass. They deliver not just more protein grams, but the right kind of protein your body can actually use. Think of it this way: protein quality is like the difference between spending your money on monopoly money versus real currency. You might have a giant stack of play money that looks impressive, but it can't actually buy you anything. Low quality protein is the same. It may look like you're getting enough grams on paper, but when your muscles go to cash it in, they come up short. High quality protein, on the other hand, is like hard cash. You can use it, you can invest it, and it pays dividends in the form of muscle growth, strength, and health. Another important point about protein quality is digestibility. Some foods might technically contain protein, but your body can't break it down and absorb it efficiently. For example, the protein in beans or grains is less digestible than the protein in eggs or meat. That means even if the food label says it has 20 grams of protein, your body might only be able to use a fraction of that for muscle repair. This is why relying heavily on low digestibility proteins can leave you with a false sense of security. You think you're eating enough, but your body isn't actually getting what it needs. The stakes are even higher when we talk about aging. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at processing protein, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. This means you need not only more total protein, but better quality protein to get the same muscle building effect you might have gotten in your younger years. Older adults who rely on low-quality protein sources are at a much higher risk of losing muscle mass, strength, and independence. That's why focusing on quality is not just a matter of nutrition science, it's a matter of healthy aging and longevity. The other benefit of prioritizing protein quality is satiety and nutrient density. High-quality protein sources don't just feed your muscles, they feed your entire body. A ribeye steak or a few eggs bring not only the essential amino acids, but also important vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats. This nutrient density means that while you're protecting your muscle mass, you're also supporting your bones, hormones, and overall metabolic health. By contrast, low-quality protein foods often come packaged with empty calories, carbs, or anti-nutrients that do little to promote long-term wellness. So when you think about protein, don't just think in terms of hitting a number. Think about whether the protein you're eating is actually usable, complete, and bioavailable. It's the difference between just eating more and truly fueling your body for strength, resilience, and longevity. If you want to protect yourself from sarcopenia and keep your muscles strong for life, you need to prioritize quality over quantity every single time. When people talk about foods that help build muscle and fight off sarcopenia, sardines almost always come up. They're rich in omega-3 fats. They have a decent amount of protein, and they're promoted as a superfood. But when the real goal is maximizing muscle protein synthesis and getting enough leucine to flip the growth switch, there is a food that outperforms sardines by a wide margin: red meat, particularly beef. Sardines may have their place in a balanced diet, but if we're talking about building and protecting muscle, beef is in another league altogether. Leucine is the star player when it comes to stimulating muscle protein synthesis. It's the amino acid that tells your body to take the protein you've eaten and turn it into new muscle tissue. Without enough leucine in a meal, you can eat all the protein you want and still not activate that process effectively. Sardines provide some leucine, but the amount per serving falls short when compared to beef. A modest portion of steak delivers more leucine in one sitting than a whole can of sardines, and that means you hit the threshold needed for growth much more efficiently. This difference is not just about numbers, it's about practicality. Most people don't want to eat multiple cans of sardines every day just to get enough leucine. The taste, the texture, and even the smell can be limiting for a lot of people. Beef, on the other hand, is versatile, satisfying, and far easier to consume in the quantities needed to stimulate growth. You can grill it, roast it, stir-fry it, or slow cook it. That makes it not only more enjoyable, but also more sustainable as a long-term dietary habit. And when it comes to protecting muscle as you age, sustainability is key. You need a food you'll actually eat consistently, not something you'll burn out on after a week. Another advantage of beef over sardines is nutrient density beyond protein. Alongside leucine and other essential amino acids, beef provides bioavailable iron, zinc, B vitamins, and creatine, all of which play important roles in energy production, recovery, and muscle health. Sardines have omega-3s, which are valuable, but they don't come close to matching the full nutrient package that beef delivers. Creatine, in particular, is worth highlighting because it supports muscle strength, power, and recovery, and it's found in significant amounts in red meat. This makes beef almost like a natural supplement, giving you tools that sardines simply don't provide. It's also important to recognize how efficient beef is at overcoming anabolic resistance, especially in older adults. As people age, their muscles become less sensitive to smaller doses of protein. This means they need a larger hit of leucine in a single meal to trigger muscle synthesis. Sardines would require large volumes to reach that threshold, which isn't realistic for most people. Beef, on the other hand, hits that mark easily, making it a far more effective choice for protecting against sarcopenia. It's not just about convenience, it's about biology and what your body actually responds to. There's also the satisfaction factor. Building muscle isn't just about fueling your body with the right amino acids. It's about sticking with a diet long enough to see results. Beef is satiating, deeply satisfying, and leaves you full and energized. Sardines, while healthy, often leave people feeling like they've had a snack rather than a meal, when the goal is maintaining strength, preventing muscle loss, and keeping your metabolism strong. Meals that satisfy and nourish you fully are going to win every time. So while sardines can be a fine food, especially for those who enjoy them, they are not the gold standard for muscle health. If the goal is maximizing leucine intake and muscle protein synthesis, beef is the superior choice. It delivers more of what your muscles need in an efficient, practical, and enjoyable package. That's why, when it comes to protecting your body from sarcopenia and ensuring strength as you age, beef doesn't just compete with sardines, it beats them outright. Strong muscles aren't just about lifting heavy weights in the gym or looking fit in the mirror. They are the foundation of a healthy metabolism and one of the most reliable predictors of how long and how well you'll live. Most people think of muscle as something only athletes care about, but in reality, muscle mass is one of the most important factors in aging gracefully. The truth is simple: when you build and maintain strong muscles, you're not just building strength, you're building health insurance for your future. Your metabolism is the sum of all the processes in your body that convert food into energy. The more muscle you have, the more efficiently your metabolism works. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, meaning it burns calories even when you're at rest. Fat tissue does not. This means that two people who weigh the same but have different muscle to fat ratios will have very different metabolic health. The person with more muscle will have a faster metabolism, better energy levels, and better blood sugar control. The person with less muscle will struggle more with weight gain, fatigue, and insulin resistance. That's why muscle is often referred to as the organ of longevity. It does far more than move your body, it keeps your entire system running smoothly. As we age, metabolism naturally slows, but much of that slowdown isn't inevitable, it's the result of losing muscle mass. This is why people often complain that they can't eat the way they used to in their 40s, 50s, or 60s without gaining weight. What really happened is that they lost muscle and their calorie-burning engine got smaller. By maintaining strong muscles through resistance training and high-quality protein, you protect your metabolism. Instead of shrinking, your engine stays powerful and you continue burning energy efficiently well into old age. That means less fat accumulation, less risk of obesity-related diseases, and more vitality. But the benefits of muscle extend beyond metabolism. Strong muscles protect your bones by putting stress on them during movement, which keeps them dense and less prone to fractures. They improve balance and coordination, dramatically lowering the risk of falls, the number one cause of injury in older adults. They act as a reservoir for glucose, helping regulate blood sugar levels and lowering your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Strong muscles also support your immune system by producing signaling molecules called myokines, which reduce inflammation and promote overall health. In other words, muscle is not just about strength, it's a full body defense system. When it comes to lifespan, studies consistently show that people with more muscle mass live longer. But even more important is health span, the number of years you live free from disease and disability. What good is living to 90 if you spend the last 20 years too weak to enjoy life? Muscle mass is directly tied to independence. Being strong enough to carry groceries, climb stairs, or get up off the floor without help may not sound glamorous, but those abilities determine whether you can live on your own or need constant assistance. Muscle is freedom, and it's what allows you to not just add years to your life, but life to your years. It's worth remembering that strong muscles aren't reserved for the young. People in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can build muscle when they combine resistance training with the right nutrition. The body is incredibly adaptable no matter the age. Every pound of muscle you add is an investment in a stronger metabolism and a longer, more independent life. The sooner you start, the more of a buffer you build, but it's never too late to benefit. So when you think about health and longevity, don't just think about avoiding disease or keeping your weight down. Think about building muscle. It is one of the most powerful tools you have to fight aging from the inside out. Strong muscles don't just help you live longer. They make sure those extra years are filled with energy, independence, and vitality. When most people think about anti-aging, they immediately picture expensive creams, supplements, or trendy superfoods that promise to keep wrinkles away and add years to life. The problem is that most of these so-called solutions only scratch the surface. They don't get to the root of what actually drives aging and what truly keeps the body strong. If you want a real anti-aging strategy, it doesn't come in a bottle or a gimmicky powder. It comes from nutrient density. Forget the myths about magic pills or single miracle foods. The secret is eating foods so rich in essential vitamins, minerals, and bioavailable protein that your body gets exactly what it needs to repair, regenerate, and thrive. Aging is essentially the slow breakdown of your body's ability to repair itself. Cells wear out, tissues weaken, and organs lose efficiency. What determines how fast this happens is largely how well you nourish your body. If your diet is full of empty calories, foods that provide energy but almost no real nutrients, your body simply doesn't have the raw materials it needs to keep you strong. You can hit your calorie goals and still be starving for the micronutrients that run your metabolism, strengthen your bones, and fuel your brain. Over time, that starvation shows up as weakness, disease, and accelerated aging. Nutrient-dense foods are the opposite of this problem. They deliver the highest amount of usable nutrition per calorie, meaning your body gets more bang for every bite. Think about foods like beef, eggs, liver, salmon, and other whole animal products. These aren't just high in protein, they're loaded with vitamins like B12D and K2, minerals like iron, zinc, and magnesium, and healthy fats that keep your hormones balanced. They provide nutrients in forms that your body can actually absorb and use, unlike many plant-based sources that contain antinutrients or poorly absorbed compounds. That's the difference between surviving and truly thriving. One of the biggest myths in nutrition is that you can eat a diet full of processed, fortified foods and be just as healthy as if you ate whole, nutrient-dense foods. The truth is, fortification is like patching holes in a sinking ship. You're trying to fix deficiencies created by an overall poor diet rather than preventing them in the first place. Your body doesn't need synthetic add-ons, it needs complete nutrition from the start. Nutrient-dense foods don't just fill one gap, they cover dozens of needs at once, building resilience across your entire system. Another myth is that anti-aging is all about antioxidants from exotic berries or powders. While antioxidants can play a role in reducing oxidative stress, they're just one piece of the puzzle. Without adequate protein, without enough minerals, without the fat-soluble vitamins that regulate everything from bone health to immunity, no amount of antioxidant powders will stop aging. Nutrient density is what ties everything together, making sure your body has the raw materials to run its countless repair processes day in and day out. When you focus on nutrient-dense foods, you're not just slowing down wrinkles or looking better in the mirror, you're strengthening the inside. You're protecting your brain from cognitive decline by giving it the omega-3s and B vitamins it needs. You're guarding your bones against osteoporosis by fueling them with calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K2. You're powering your immune system with zinc and selenium. You're giving your muscles the amino acids they require to fight off sarcopenia. These are the real anti-aging benefits that no supplement can replicate because they come from complete whole foods. The key takeaway is simple: anti-aging isn't about gimmicks, it's about nourishment. Forget the myths that tell you to chase fads or buy into quick fixes. The real secret is nutrient density, choosing foods that give your body everything it needs in abundance. When you eat this way consistently, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years. That's what real anti-aging looks like, and it starts on your plate.